This is a Mobius strip, and this is another Mobius strip. If you follow around one edge, you'll notice that they only have one edge. But what if I take the edge of this Mobius strip and join it to the edge of this other Mobius strip? When you do this, you'd end up with something called a Klein bottle. This is a Klein bottle. It's a shape that technically has no volume. If you follow your way around the surface, you'll notice that there's no clear inside or outside. There's just one continuous path that loops back on itself without ever crossing an edge. Because of the way it loops back on itself, it's very difficult to fill up. When you try to pour in water to get it into the center, you have to tip it, and that dumps out the remaining water. When you get as close as you can see that there's no easy way to get the air bubble out to let more water in. In a previous video, I showed how you can use a vacuum chamber to suck out the air to eventually fill it all the way up. But the problem is most people don't have a vacuum chamber, so it's not very practical for the countless number of people out there that have all these Klein bottles that they want to fill up with water. So is there any other way? Well, yes, we just need a little fire. I'll just get a little water in this. If you take a soda can and heat it up so that it's boiling, something interesting happens when you put it in water. Okay, it's boiling now, so the steam's just pouring out the top. Now watch this. 3, 2, 1. Whoa! So why did that happen? Well, when we heated it up, it filled the volume of the can with steam and pushed all the air out. But when we stick it in cold water, suddenly that steam condenses into liquid water, and the volume decreases by 99.9%. Whoa! So this created a big pressure drop in the can, and the atmosphere suddenly crushes it. So we're going to try to use this effect to try to get the Klein bottle completely full of water. So I'll start off by pouring a little bit of water in the Klein bottle. So now hopefully when this boils in there, the steam will push out all of the air and it'll be filled with steam instead of air. I'm using a microwave to heat it because I don't know if it'll break from the thermal shock if I try to heat it with fire. Okay, let's take it out and put it in the cold water and see what happens. Here we go. Whoa. Oh, it sucked to the bottom. So it didn't fill it all the way there. So maybe I didn't let it steam for long enough. Let's try it again. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Whoa. Still leaves that little bit there. Okay, we got pretty much the same result. So it seems like we aren't getting rid of all the air inside. There's some air getting in when I'm transferring it from the microwave to the water. I'll have to use fire this time. But before we continue, whenever I'm trying to fill up Klein bottles, I always get really hungry. That's why I use Thrive, who sponsored this video. Thrive Market is my go-to destination for healthy and sustainable groceries, all delivered right to my door. It's an online membership-based grocery store that makes shopping incredibly easy. I can filter by values like vegan, keto, or allergen-free. And they have so many options to choose from. Everything I've tried has been super high quality with ingredients I can actually trust. The food from Thrive is actually amazing. Look how good this all looks. One of the best things for me is that Thrive Market bans over 1,000 questionable ingredients. They have no artificial flavors, colors, or sweeteners, even in their candy. This gives me peace of mind when I'm buying snacks for the kids or supplements for myself. These are my favorite, called Giggles. They're literally better than Skittles, but they use no artificial dye. Also, their Buy It Again feature saves me time on repeat orders, which is a huge win during my busier filming weeks. The nice thing is orders over $49 ship free, and since it's all online, I don't have to fight through a grocery store to eat well. So if you want to try Thrive today, you can click the link in my description box or go to thrivemarket.com/theactionlab to receive 30% off your first order and a free gift when you join Thrive Market today. And thanks to Thrive for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to our experiment. And now I'll just blast it with a torch so it has a lot of steam pouring out the center tube. Okay, it should be hot enough now. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Whoa, it worked. We got a completely full Klein bottle, except for this little tiny bubble, but it's far enough up so that if I just tip it, I can get rid of the bubble. Now if I can just carefully tip this, there's the bubble. Did it. There it is. We did it. We did it. Completely filled Klein bottle. Look how neat this looks underwater. I mentioned before that the Klein bottle has no volume, but somehow we just filled it up. But that's only because of gravity. Topologically, there's no separation between the inside of the bottle and the outside. So if it were in space, the liquid could leave it easily. So a true Klein bottle actually has no volume, the same as a Mobius strip. In fact, the name of Klein bottle wasn't supposed to be bottle. It was supposed to be Klein surface, not bottle. When the German mathematician Felix Klein, who invented the concept, had his work translated from German, the word Fläche, which means surface, was misread or mistranslated as Flash. So the name stuck. And we now call it a Klein bottle. But it would make much more sense to understand that you can't fill a surface if it was called a Klein surface. And thanks for watching another episode of the Action Lab. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you haven't subscribed yet, remember to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.